Have you ever really thought about how we see color? I mean, really, you look at a strawberry and poof, it's red. You look at the ocean and it's blue. It feels so instant, so simple. But the journey that color takes from the world into your eye and to your brain is, well, it's absolutely amazing. So let's follow that journey together and unpack the real science of how we see. Okay, just let that quote sink in for a second. Color is created in your brain. That sounds completely backwards, doesn't it? It basically says that the world out there is colorless, and our brain is the artist painting it all in. So how on earth does it pull that off? Well, let's find out. To get to the bottom of this, the first piece of the puzzle isn't in your eye at all. Nope, it's light. You see, light is the messenger that carries all the information about the world to you, and it's got a pretty colorful secret hidden inside. So, you know that beam of sunlight streaming through your window? It looks white, or maybe just, plain. But it's actually a super mix of all the colors of the rainbow, all mashed together and traveling as one. Think of it like a highway packed with millions of cars of every single color. Now, here's the key. Each color in that beam of light has its own unique signature. We call it a wavelength. Red light waves, for example, are long and kind of stretched out. But blue and violet light waves, they're much shorter and more bunched up. And that difference, it's going to be absolutely crucial. All right, let's make this real. Imagine a red apple sitting on a table. We've got sunlight with all the colors of the rainbow packed inside, hitting that apple. So why do we only see red? Where did all the other colors go? Here's where the magic starts. The skin of that apple acts like a selective bouncer at a club. It lets some colors in and kicks others out. In this case, it absorbs the wavelengths for blue, for green, for yellow. Pretty much all the other colors in the sunlight just get soaked up. But the one color the apple rejects is red. It doesn't absorb the red wavelengths. Instead, it bounces them right off its surface and sends them flying straight towards your eyes. And that's the big secret. The color of an object is just the color of light it reflects. It's not what it is, it's what it throws away. Okay, so that red light has bounced off the apple and is now heading right into your eye. The journey is about halfway done. Now let's dive inside and see how this message of light actually gets received by your own personal biological camera. At the very, very back of your eye, there's this thin layer of tissue called the retina. The best way to think about it is like the sensor chip in a digital camera. And it's covered with millions of tiny, tiny light detectors that fall into two main teams, the rods and the cones. Let's break them down. Rods are your night vision specialists. They are incredibly sensitive, and they're why you can see in really dim light. But, and this is a big but, they only see in black, white, and shades of gray. Cones, on the other hand, they're the color experts. They need bright light to work, and they are the entire reason you see a vibrant, colorful world. Okay, so we've got the light messenger, and we've got the eye's receivers. But hold on, because the most incredible part of this whole process happens next. The cones have detected the light, but they haven't seen color yet. For that, we have to go to the main control room, your brain. Now get this. This is the wild part. We don't have a cone for every single color out there. We only have 3 types of cones, 3 specialists. One type is most sensitive to red light. Another is most sensitive to green. And the last one is most sensitive to blue. That's it. Red, green, and blue. That's all your eye has to work with. Think of your brain as a master artist with a palette that only has 3 paint colors on it, red, green, and blue. When light hits your eye, the brain gets signals from those 3 cone types and starts mixing. It's constantly doing this calculation. Okay, how much red am I getting? How much green? How much blue? And based on that mix, it creates every single color you can possibly imagine. So let's play this out. Let's say a light wave comes into your eye and it gets both your red cones and your green cones really excited. They're both sending a strong signal. But your blue cones, they're not reacting at all. So what color does your brain create from that specific combination? Yellow. Isn't that crazy? There is no yellow cone. There isn't even a yellow message being sent to your brain. Your brain simply interprets the combination of a strong red signal and a strong green signal as the color yellow. It's all a brilliant, beautiful interpretation. Okay, I know that was a lot of science, so let's tie this all together with a really simple and powerful analogy that makes this whole thing crystal clear. Just think of your vision system like a digital camera, right? The rods are like the brightness sensor. They're just figuring out how light or dark the scene is. The cones are the color sensors, but they only detect raw data for red, green, and blue. And then you have the most important part, the brain. Your brain is the powerful image processor that takes all that raw data and creates the rich, detailed, colorful photograph of reality that you actually see. So, using everything we've just learned, let me ask you a simple question. If this entire process has to start with light, what happens when you turn off the lights and you're in complete darkness? Exactly. It's simple, right? No light means no messenger. If there's no light bouncing off objects, then nothing enters your eye, and your rods and cones have zero signals to send. The brain's processor gets no data, so it creates no image. It's the ultimate proof that light is the starting point for literally everything we see. And that brings us right back to where we started. This quote should make perfect sense now. That apple isn't red. It just happens to have a surface that's really good at reflecting the long wavelengths of light, which our brains have learned over millennia to interpret and label as red. The color is a sensation, a perception, an experience created entirely inside our own heads. Which leaves us with one last kind of mind-bending question. If color is a personal interpretation that's constructed by each of our individual brains, is my experience of red really the same as your experience of red? It's a question that shows just how deep this topic goes. And it's a perfect reminder that our reality is truly a product of our own amazing perception.